Among the snowy peaks of the Himalayas lies a city hidden, which centuries ago was considered only a mysterious reservoir. This place is today known as Kathmandu, Nepal, an area that was once covered by vast waters, where countless Nagas lived. Among those mysteries lies a UNESCO-recognized World Heritage Site, a center of tantric practices, and a vast open cremation ground where every corner bears witness to an untold tale. The most deeply guarded mystery of this city is the Pashupatinath Temple, dedicated to Lord Shiva. This temple is not merely a religious site, but a living layer of mysteries. It is said that in every corner of this city, some hidden story connected to Shiva lies asleep, and very few people remain who have heard them. Suddenly came that terrifying afternoon of April 2015 when the earth shook, an earthquake that turned the city into rubble within a few seconds. Houses, shops, memories, everything was destroyed. Nearly 9,000 lives were buried beneath this soil, writhing in pain. But in that same city, there was also a place that remained completely untouched by this devastation, as if some invisible power had protected it. Located on the banks of the Bagmati River is a supernatural temple where, as soon as you step inside, you will see hundreds of Shiva lingams standing in a row, as if an eternal shield of protection has been erected against time. This is the Pashupatinath Temple, a mysterious abode built in honor of Shiva, where every stone contains an ancient tale buried within it. The story of the Nepal Mahatmya says that a self-manifested Shiva lingam resides in this temple, which no one created and no one installed. It appeared from the earth itself, and because of it this land came to be known as Kathmandu, a mysterious tale that has echoed through the winds of Kathmandu for centuries. It is said that one day Lord Shiva turned toward the earth from his divine realm, as if some unseen call had attracted him. His journey brought him to the banks of the Bagmati River, where he became enchanted after seeing the unparalleled beauty of nature. Fascinated by this divinity, he decided to spend some time there. Beyond any warning or concern, time continued to pass, and his failure to return to Kailash began to make the gods restless. Commotion spread through all the realms. Then Lord Vishnu looked with his divine vision, and the scene before him was astonishing. Mahadev was at that time resting on the banks of the Bagmati River in the form of a deer, completely lost in yogic sleep. Vishnu himself came to earth to take him back, but Shiva, who was now in the form of a deer, sensed his presence and immediately began running in a directionless manner, as if he himself had become nature. Vishnu tried to stop him and lunged forward, grabbing one of the deer's horns. But as soon as he touched it, an extraordinary thing happened. The horn broke off and fell into his hands. At that very moment, the deer disappeared, and the very next moment Lord Shiva appeared in his true form. He looked for a moment, silently accepted something, and then slowly returned to his abode, as if a divine play had been completed. But the story does not end here. Sometime after the broken horn touched the earth, a miraculous Shiva lingam appeared. It was neither created nor installed, but emerged from the earth itself. We know this divine symbol today by the name of Mukalingam, the most mysterious and revered center of the Pashupatinath Temple. It is believed that the mysterious Shiva lingam situated in the Pashupatinath Temple is not merely an ordinary symbol. It has not 4, but 5 faces. The 4 faces represent different forms of Lord Shiva, reflecting his various powers and emotions. But there is one face whose existence ordinary people's eyes can never see. Ancient tantric texts describe this 5th face as Kalagni Rudra. This face is not merely a symbol of power or destruction, but represents the fundamental source of life, reproduction, and mysteries such as sexual union. It is said that only those practitioners who are completely accomplished in tantric knowledge are capable of seeing this mysterious face. It is not a physical face. It is an experience that manifests only at a particular level of consciousness. Within the walls of these ancient temples of India and Nepal lie many such mysteries that have no mention in the books of history. Many stories and legends have been buried beneath the dust of time, and perhaps it is these invisible threads that the mystery world tries to reconnect, where every story opens a new layer of the culture that time has hidden. Now we return to that same time when the earth shook in 2015. The whole of Kathmandu seemed to come to a standstill. Amid death and destruction, the echoes of screams could be heard. But just like the Pashupatinath Temple, there was another place that remained completely untouched by this catastrophe, a place that is called a palace, but it is not merely a structure of bricks and stones. This is Kumari Gar, where a living goddess resides, a girl who is considered an incarnation of divinity. There was a strange peace within the walls of her palace that day as well, as if some supernatural power were protecting every direction. In the old palace-like corridors of Kathmandu lies a tradition that can make one's soul tremble upon hearing it. In this tradition, an innocent girl is suddenly removed from her ordinary life, precisely when she has just begun to understand the world. Barely 5 years old, the girl is taken away from her mother's lap, and, without receiving any answer, she is taken into a room filled with darkness. The walls of the room are silent, the air is heavy, and old lamps are spreading a dim light all around. The girl is trembling with fear, her eyes repeatedly trying to see something. Nothing is clear. Then a figure appears before her, a priest standing with his eyes closed and chanting mysterious mantras. The words echo in the air, as if an invisible power is surrounding the room. The girl is about to ask something when suddenly a strange transformation rises within her. Not a tremor, but a wave of energy. Her fear disappears. A glow emerges in her eyes, and she says in shock, "What is happening to me? Why does it feel as if some power is entering within me?" The priest opens his eyes and says with a faint smile, "You are no longer merely a child. The consciousness of Goddess Durga has entered within you. This power has now become your soul. You are the Kumari of this city, a living goddess." This is not an ordinary belief. It is a tradition that has continued for centuries. In this practice, a girl from a particular caste, the Sakya community, is selected, and her identity is determined not only by her age, but by a mysterious power that becomes visible within her without being spoken. In the streets of Kathmandu, there is also a mystery that lies beyond ordinary eyes, a tradition that was born from a dream. According to local folklore, this custom began centuries ago with a dream of a king of the Mulla dynasty. In that dream, Goddess Durga herself appeared and commanded him, "Choose a girl in whom my consciousness can reside, who can become my living form on earth." And from then on, a tradition was born in this city of enthroning a girl as the Kumari. But this power is not permanent. It has a mysterious condition. As soon as signs of adolescence begin to appear within the Kumari, it is believed that the divinity leaves her body. The power that had remained calm until then begins searching for its next sacred vessel. The priests believe that as soon as biological changes begin in the body, the mind begins to become restless, and in that restlessness the divine consciousness cannot remain. Then a new girl is chosen, a soul that is still pure and untouched. The atmosphere of Kumari Gar is just as mysterious as this tradition. Only the Kumari and specific priests are allowed to enter this sacred palace. No outsider can enter. Here, every wall and every corridor holds a mystery within itself. The traditions and rituals are so ancient and special that for ordinary people, they are like a mysterious scripture whose meaning can only be understood by those who possess knowledge. Connected to the deeper dimensions of Hindu tantric traditions, these beliefs also speak of sacrifice, blood, and hidden possibilities, aspects that go beyond ordinary worship and rituals. And among the centers of these tantric traditions, one prominent name is the Nara Devi Temple, which is dedicated to Shwetakali. It is believed that this temple is a center of the energy of tantric powers, a place where even today many secret practices are performed secretly. An old legend tells that a king of Patan was once wandering through the dense forests of Kathmandu in search of prey. The peaceful environment suddenly turned into terrifying noise. A wild elephant charged toward him. Frightened, the king began to run, but the elephant was behind him, ready to trample him. Searching for the last hope of his life, his eyes fell upon a huge tree whose roots contained a cave-like hollow. He immediately hid himself there. Running had left his body completely exhausted, and his heart was trembling with fear. In that condition, he fainted and fell. After several moments, when he opened his eyes, a divine image was standing before him, Mother Shwetakali. He simply stood there without saying anything, while tears flowed from his eyes. The mother said in a calm voice, "Now your fear has ended. Your life is safe." And in the very next moment, the figure disappeared from there. The king was so deeply affected by this divine experience that he had a temple built at that very sacred place, Nara Devi Temple. This temple was not merely a structure of bricks and stones. It was built for the flow of tantric energies. It is said that a mantra resides within every brick here, and tantric energy emerges from every corner. Ancient tantric texts describe offering blood at the feet of the goddess, performing sacrifices, and practicing spiritual rituals. All these have remained the fundamental basis of tantric activities. For this reason, every year on the day of Vijayadashmi, a special sacrifice takes place here, the sacrifice of a buffalo. This ritual is not ordinary faith, but a process of pleasing a mysterious power, not only in the Nara Devi Temple of Kathmandu, but in many other temples as well. Such mysterious practices have remained alive for centuries. Scriptures such as the Atharvaveda and Yajurveda clearly describe Lord Shiva as the god of Tantra, and for this reason his Kalabhairava form holds the highest position in the tantric world. The year was 2005, when a special cultural study was organized in Kathmandu. But this was not an ordinary research project. At its center was an event that takes place only once a year, only for one night, and that too on the night of the full moon, when the moon shines in its entirety. At the Kathmandu Temple begins a ritual that can make even the soul tremble upon hearing about it. It is said that in this tantric ritual, 5 sacrifices are offerings of 5 different living beings. This is not an ordinary worship, but a panchayat, a sacrifice dedicated to Kirti Mukh Bhairav, whose form is considered one of the most terrifying forms of time. He simply stood there without saying anything, while tears flowed from his eyes. The mother said in a calm voice, "Now your fear has ended. Your life is safe." And in the very next moment, the figure disappeared from there. The king was so deeply affected by this divine experience that he had a temple built at that very sacred place, Nara Devi Temple. This temple was not merely a structure of bricks and stones. It was built for the flow of tantric energies. It is said that a mantra resides within every brick here, and tantric energy emerges from every corner. Ancient tantric texts describe offering blood at the feet of the goddess, performing sacrifices, and practicing spiritual rituals. All these have remained the fundamental basis of tantric activities. For this reason, every year on the day of Vijayadashmi, a special sacrifice takes place here, the sacrifice of a buffalo. This ritual is not ordinary faith, but a process of pleasing a mysterious power, not only in the Nara Devi Temple of Kathmandu, but in many other temples as well. Such mysterious practices have remained alive for centuries. Scriptures such as the Atharvaveda and Yajurveda clearly describe Lord Shiva as the god of Tantra, and for this reason his Kalabhairava form holds the highest position in the tantric world. The year was 2005, when a special cultural study was organized in Kathmandu. But this was not an ordinary research project. At its center was an event that takes place only once a year, only for one night, and that too on the night of the full moon, when the moon shines in its entirety. At the Kirti Mukh Bhairav Temple begins a ritual that can make even the soul tremble upon hearing about it. It is said that in this tantric ritual, 5 sacrifices are offerings of 5 different living beings. This is not an ordinary worship, but a panchayat, a sacrifice dedicated to Kirti Mukh Bhairav, whose form is considered one of the most terrifying forms of time. Pashupatinath. This name alone is enough to feel that divinity. It is said that Lord Shiva himself resides here, and therefore this land is considered not merely a pilgrimage site, but a sign of Shiva's living presence. There is even a vibration in the air here that shakes the consciousness of a practitioner. If you want to know about other mysterious places connected to Lord Shiva and their Jyotirlinga forms, another veil can be lifted, one that can be seen only by those who are prepared from within. If these stories have awakened something within you, some curiosity, some question, or some experience, then surely put it into words. And if you too want to explore the forgotten layers of history, want to touch the boundaries between religion and Tantra, then the Mystery World channel is open for you. We will return again with another unseen chapter.